Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your February forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. For those that are curious, Apollo's behind us, but he's sleeping, so we're going to leave him alone and talk about what's in store. First of all, you can always use this for Sun, Rising Moon, and Venus, and I like to get started with channeled messages. As I was tuning into your sign, what came through in dreams and then later in meditation, I kind of pieced this together, was a volcano. And the interesting thing was I got the energy around action, like get moving. Sort of like if a volcano was erupting, you wouldn't want to be in the vicinity. So the first thing is just basically to bring something into fruition. If we take the element of fire and think of something like the Ace of Wands, an ace is only as good as the follow through. So it feels like there might be something that's been sort of bubbling up for a while, and now it's time to take action on it. And then the other thing, when you think of how the magma flows through the volcano, it's also about being in the flow of energy, creative flow in particular. And we'd want to take a look at the first and second chakras because they're aligned to the colors that are in the volcano, basically red and orange, even a little bit of yellow. So the first three chakras are often areas that we neglect in our lives too. The first one being that feeling of safety, and the second one being your creative aspect and also the sexual and sensual part of your person. And then the third being, of course, your core, your confidence, your sort of solar plexus power. So as we take a look at the cards today, I'll see if there's anything in those energies that show up. But in the meantime, what I'm seeing is if you were at a point in your life where there weren't sort of like indications of growth or there was stagnation, it feels like this is a month where you can push through that. Because if you've ever watched magma flow, it can basically cut through any barrier or boundary. It's also a creative force, Pele, right? The goddess of fire and volcanoes. So creation and destruction, ends and beginnings, like the Death card and the World card, kind of wrapped up together in this month's reading. Let's get started. All right, do me a favor. Please close your eyes for just a moment so that we can tune in. Put your feet on the ground. Imagine that the sun is shining overhead, creating a circle of light around you. In the circle of light, know that you are protected and connected to Source. Within this safety, you can absolutely welcome in your angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Let's see what's coming through for your highest good. How amazing and perfect is this in the outcome? We have actually the goddess Pele with the volcano. So yay for synchronicities. Let's keep going here. All right, let's get started with your catalyst. So the catalyst is powerful because it helps you take some sort of an action to kick things off in the right direction. And this month you have one of the most powerful messages coming through. Forgiveness brings freedom. When I see this, I just want to say forgiveness is freedom. I think either of those works. But what we see here is the forgiveness breaking the chains right in the center of this spread. And I grabbed the Devil card here because there's actually a correlation between the Devil card and this. So if you notice, between the two people in the front, there are chains that are holding them together. So the chain that comes through in the Devil card can sometimes be an inability to forgive yourself and possibly even someone else. And so when you forgive yourself, it's like breaking those chains free. And it's also just not being so hard on yourself. I wish I would have known this or done that or said this. All that matters is that right here and right now, you're starting to understand what's important. Focus on the now and then help manifest the next. We have the butterflies on either side showing that growth, movement, and change is already underway. So you aren't even that same person. What happened before wouldn't happen now, and that's one of the beautiful messages here. If you're having a hard time forgiving yourself or someone else, then talk to someone, a counselor, a friend, someone that can help you see the bird's eye perspective and maybe shift your view just a little bit. All right, let's take a look at your center card here. We have the King of Pentacles, and it's in the reverse position. And in this particular card, we can see that the turtle here is holding up the weight of the world. So for many of you, you might be carrying too many responsibilities, putting too much pressure on yourself, or your focus is kind of like a wide net, and it's hard for things to grow and manifest. Normally, the King of Pentacles is very good at creating things. He's a manifester, has a green thumb, particularly when it comes to opportunities, money, resources. So let go a little bit. Delegate. Ask for help if you need to. Allow yourself to have the time and the space to rest. This is also a card connected with personal development. So when the card is reversed as it is today, it's really saying for the month ahead, put a little bit more time into self-care, self-development, education, anything that you need to feel supported. And the grounding is off a little bit with this in the reverse position. The fact that I saw a volcano shows me that things want to move, and what I'm getting from Spirit is this is your month to make the movement happen. Otherwise, we would have something like a tower or some other energy to come through and move you. So move or be moved. Focus on taking care of yourself, and don't carry so much pressure when it comes to being perfect or making everyone happy, because ultimately this card is saying you've already got everything that it takes. It's your moment here to shine, because crossing this card, we have the Star, one of the best cards in the major arcana, the entire deck, really. The Star card comes through at a moment in your life where you can't really blend into the background. It's a conspicuous card. Much like the Hermit, it's also the light in the dark. So there may be a need for you to come forth and share inspiration, insight, vision with others. Maybe because they lack clarity, hope, vision, or maybe just because this is your moment to really step into your path in life. There are sometimes these synchronicities that will open up when we've done everything that we need to, because Spirit is saying, if not now, then when? This card is connected with artists, with people in the spotlight. It's also a highly spiritual card, and it's connected to source. Your creativity, your intuition, and your charisma are coming through loud and clear. The only thing that's kind of blocking it here could be that you are overextending yourself. So it's very important to be clear on how and where you want to spend your time, energy, and money so that you have plenty of time to shine and make a difference. As we take a look at what's energetically been going on here in the past, we have the Hanged Man energy. So here's your traditional card. Here's a slightly updated version. You can see that there's a nimbus or a halo that's on that version of the card. That means that any delay that has come forth, whether it's right here, right now, or in the past, came through so that you could pause and maybe identify an alternate path or a better path. It's also there to make you, to make sure rather that you don't make any unnecessary errors. Take your time, read an email 2 or 3 times, get a second set of eyes on something. In fact, if we look at the recent past here, we have the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. This card is connected to teamwork. It's a little hard to see with this version of it, so let's just swap in the Rider-Waite-Smith card for a moment. We see an artisan here basically doing his best to make something look beautiful, and a couple of other people that are checking everything, making sure that nothing's being missed. So this is where that extra set of eyes and ears comes in handy. This card also represents recognition, and when the card is reversed like it was today, sometimes there's a delay in the recognition. If it's on your part, just saying thank you or a job well done, then this is giving you the key to success. Just make sure that you're recognizing talent around you. If you're the one that is kind of flying under the radar, then remember we had conspicuous energy here with the Star. Make sure that you're drawing attention to what has been done, what needs to be done. And even if you're normally shy or humble, make sure that your contributions are a part of the final documentation, basically giving credit where credit's due, including the things that you're doing. If you need to do any sort of revisions, there's also a caution with this card that you're probably closer to the finish line than you think, so avoid perfectionist tendencies. If you want to do anything that is enriching, education, certification, getting involved in extracurricular activities, just doing something because it expands your consciousness or your mind, absolutely now's the time to do it. Sometimes when this card is reversed, there can be a little bit of internal reluctance to sort of like lean into that, but now is your moment, again, with the enrichment energy of that King of Pentacles at the center. All right, you guys are busy this month. As I'm looking at the crowning card, we have Seven of Wands. This comes on the heels of the Success card, Six of Wands, and oftentimes you have almost more than you can handle, as we can see here. The traditional card shows the importance of basically pushing back, creating boundaries, and saying when enough is enough. But this version shows that you can manage anything that comes across your plate. It's just important to create like an outline or a schedule of what you're trying to do in this month, and be very clear and keep yourself accountable. But one thing that I would say with this is don't be afraid to say no. It's hard sometimes. We don't want to disappoint people, but there comes a point sometimes where it's just too much, and this is basically encouraging you to be realistic. All right, so we have in the near future the Eight of Swords. One way to look at the Eight of Swords is like a prison of thought, which can also make you feel sort of like paralyzed. In this version of it, you can see that even more. She feels like if I step in any direction, I'm trapped. It's like painting yourself in the corner, a prison of thought. So the way out of this is to realize that any step is better than standing still. Because when you think to yourself, I can't do it, it won't happen, I'm stuck, then nothing's going to progress. You won't do it, you're not going to see any progress, and you actually will manifest being stuck. So take a step, take a leap of faith, a calculated leap of faith in a direction that you've done a little bit of research in. Get curious. Whenever the Eight of Swords comes through, a lot of times it's just because you're afraid to see something different, unknown, unexpected. You have to take the blindfolds off and kind of just take a look and see what's out there. This can also represent for some of you a feeling of being on the outside or not being appreciated. And we can actually see that in this version of it. The person here is kind of in a cave or in an alcove. No one's paying attention to them. So in work, in school, in life, if you're feeling underappreciated, neglected, or literally someone's ignoring you, it's time to bring forth the star power that we saw in the center and just say, let's talk. Even though that's not always a fun combination of words, sometimes you have to say that. We need to talk. This is something that needs to be solved. I have an idea. Or simply put, like if somebody is acting a fool, and they might be, because as I'm looking here at Seven of Swords in reverse representing you, there could be someone who is testing your boundaries. And it could be because in the past, maybe you weren't able to be completely honest with them. So now they're coming through and they either don't know how to talk to you, or they're just testing to see if you have boundaries. And so when you start to articulate yourself, when you start to stand up for yourself, you start to clear some of the energy of this. So Seven of Swords is the universe coming through and asking you to get real with yourself and with others. Something or someone could be coming through in a way that is either inauthentic or just inaccurate. So if it's someone else and they're saying something about you, you want to make sure that you right that wrong. When you're representing yourself, don't brag, don't stretch the truth, always be accountable. So we're looking at accountability in yourself and in others because like attracts like, and when I'm looking at self, there's a reflection there. One thing that the Seven of Swords, based on everything else that I'm looking at here, is probably connected to is a desire to please. And what happens sometimes is we just say yes when we really shouldn't. So let's give a couple examples here. Let's say you have too many things on your plate to do, and you know that you're tired and you know that you're probably not going to be able to do your best. But instead of saying no, the Seven of Wands, you just say, well, I'll try to do that. We'll see what happens. And then you can't do it because you're just too exhausted. So the solution to the Seven of Swords already exists in the crowning card, which was Seven of Wands. Push back, be authentic, be honest, say no when you don't want to do it. And if somebody makes a promise and they fail around you, come through with this and say, everybody gets like one mistake. It's okay, but I really want to understand, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Was I not clear? Get to the bottom of it without pointing fingers, but also let them know that like this isn't something that we want to see repeated. So you lead with integrity, because if you don't walk the walk and talk the talk, then no one else is going to listen. If you have something to say about what they're doing, and then give people the benefit of the doubt. Easier said than done, but it is a great way to be a leader, and people will more likely want to step up because they see that you're someone that has integrity, that has kindness, that yes, has a heart, but also has a firm limit on how far they're going to let someone into their space. So that's my advice there. Okay, in the environment, we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is quite good. So in the same way that I just said like attracts like, we see an energy here that is capable of creation, that is capable of nurturing and leadership, and could give you that sort of extra help that you need. And we have a divine partnership coming through. King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. Whether or not you're looking for love or friendship, you might be right on the precipice of finding it. There are some challenges for sure, but that's something that's really great. And this is something that could bring you balance. And the Star card is about balance when we look at this version of it. She's in the flow. She's connected to that energy of partnership, balance, and source. And this is something that's coming forth. Could be a job, could be friendship, could be an opportunity. We see her holding that pentacle. The question is, are you ready? And the two sevens that we just talked about are the sort of internal test. So boundaries and integrity. Once those are intact, everything else starts to come through. In the area of hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have the Empress, one of the best boss cards. And the way that this is illustrated reminds me of like the Virgin Mary or Madonna, or just a very beautiful icon in a church. And forgiveness is always a part of that. So there could be also forgiveness coming through with parents and parental figures or authority figures in your life. So whether that's your mother, grandmother, older sibling, there's a chance here to basically repair anything where there might be some estrangement or some wounds from the past. Ultimately, though, this is a card that shows that you have the capacity to care for yourself and others, to create, to nurture. And this is why that center card, the King of Pentacles in reverse, is saying, for a moment, for this moment in time anyway, just like nurture and pamper yourself a little bit. Look at all the vines all over this card. I just wanted to show the original one instead of the turtle. He gives and creates and produces that for everyone else, but sometimes he has to enjoy all of the hard work. And this is a moment where that's the truth for you as well. There might also be something that you're ready to birth, launch, or release. And sometimes there's a desire to want to hang on to that. Again, I get from the general spread here, especially with these cards, that now is the time to release it. I was really excited when I pulled this card because as the Queen of Wands, we have nothing other than Pele, who is the goddess of creation and destruction, fire and volcanoes. And she's there to help you close one door and open another. She is the goddess of creation and destruction. And also connected to the flow that we see here. So in the Star card, it is water, but I was mentioning magma because I saw that in my mind's eye as I was meditating, and it flows very much like water. And there's a creative process between these two elements in Hawaii, because when the fire meets the sea, the land starts to expand. So this is a moment where, if you're ready, there could be great expansion, but there could be moments where there's so much creativity or so much energy that comes through that you feel like it just needs to burst. So it's really important to take care of yourself and make sure that your health, your meditation practice, all of that is there so that you can channel the beautiful fiery energy of the Queen of Wands. A couple of quick notes with the Queen of Wands. She's wonderfully paired up with the Empress. These are the two biggest boss cards in the deck, second only to the Emperor and the King of Wands. So you have an ability this month to step into a leadership position, as we saw with this. And I think your biggest challenges really are honesty, balance and boundaries, and making sure that you're not rushing, because otherwise you're pretty much set up for success. So without getting too far ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and expand this. And we're going to take a deeper dive into the energies of health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. All right, you received the leopard. The card was reversed. The 3 words on this are power, swiftness, and ambition. The good news is you have all of that in your energy, but you want to pace yourself. So if you go too fast, you'll be depleting your power, which is why this card might have come through reversed for you. The ambition card is also saying just be realistic with how much you can do, when you can do it, and really pay attention to the company that you keep, since we did get the 7 of Swords. Reclamation of power, slowing down and being present, and basically not overreaching. This is going to help you be happier, healthier, and more successful. Specifically looking at the energy of health. Emotional health comes through this energy of forgiveness. It doesn't just bring it, like I said, it is this. So forgiveness is freedom. Other things that we're picking up on. 8 of Swords can be something that you are afraid to see or know about. And that's why the 3 of Pentacles is here to help you research it. Or you can talk to someone. Know this, when 2 of Swords or 8 of Swords comes through, it's important to take action upon that. So if you're feeling something that's a little achy or doesn't normally feel like it does now, then you want to talk to a doctor about that. Okay? 7 of Wands, if you're starting something new, working out, any sort of like change in your health, this is usually too fast. Slow it down. You can pull a muscle, you can sort of like reach, and then it's going to cause more inflammation or harm than it does good. But this is particularly for working out. Make sure that you're not lifting too much weights, working too much without getting enough fuel in your body. So sometimes when you're changing your diet and your exercise, it's not in alignment. You need to work with a doctor on that. Okay, 7 of Swords is just being honest with yourself. So if you know you shouldn't do something, don't. If you did something and it created a problem, be honest with your doctor or healthcare professional so they can assist. Some of you are first-time parents or are considering becoming a parent, and that could be exciting. The interesting thing here also is this can either be a surrogacy, this could be like a divorced set of, like, we're kind of getting ahead of each other because this is normally what we would talk about in relationships, but I'm seeing like a blended family or a non-conventional family. That can work. It just requires coordination. So, you know, that can be exciting. Communication is really key in those situations. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and move on. Oh, wait, one last thing. With the Hanged Man, sometimes it can show a little bit of sensitivity with the ankle, like an Achilles heel or tendon, or even like for those of you that have maybe twisted your foot before, be careful. Because what happens sometimes, particularly if you've sprained your foot or your ankle, is it's a little bit weaker sometimes, and you just need good support in your shoes, and you need to sometimes strengthen that part of your body. Work with a physical therapist if you're going through that. All right, wealth, life purpose, resources, and career. We have the octopus coming through here. This is very interesting because I just mentioned coordination. This is like the quintessential representation of having to juggle and multitask, be in a lot of places at once. Know your limits. This came through in work for many of you, or school, and you could just get pulled into something bigger than you realize. And even on this version of the card, you can see all the vines everywhere. We just want to make sure that there's enough for you, that you're not doing the lion's share for everyone else. And even if you can multitask, there is a limit to things, okay? Quickly, let's break this down and look at a few different categories. For those of you that are presently employed, here's what I'm picking up on for you. Okay, so the good news is we have the Star card, a moment where people are noticing you, connecting with you a little bit more, maybe leaning on you a little bit more. In the environment, we have an opportunity knocking. The challenges, octopus coming through and showing that, is 7 of Wands, 8 of Swords, 7 of Swords. Being honest with what you can do, both like logistically and even like skill set, making sure that something isn't getting overlooked. So this is where you want to work in a larger team. Don't try to do everything on your own. That's the main thing that I see here. Teamwork makes the dream work. And eventually, if you're ready, you could step into a role of leadership because people are seeing that you work well with others and you know what your limits are. And these are things that are necessary in leadership. You might have to step up this month a little bit. The only thing that I see here is that some of you might feel like you don't understand the task at hand. So if you don't understand, don't say that you do. Ask questions. Always better to say, help me understand what you need here because this isn't clear. I want to do this, but did you mean this or did you mean this? If anyone gets angry because you ask a clarifying question, that's on them, not on you, okay? Otherwise, I see you being very capable of managing a lot, and I see good things in the long run, provided that your communication stays clear and clean there. Okay, moving onward, let's go to entrepreneurs. If you own your own company, or if you want to start your own business or work for yourself, here's what I see. I like that we have the Queen of Pentacles in the environment. I also like the Three of Pentacles here. This can be teaching, mentorship, or curriculum energy. And what we need to do is bring it into fruition. So some of you are working on writing something or starting a course. That looks very good. There's some challenges around how to do something or how to make a splash. You have what it takes, but you might need someone to help you with your media or your social media or your marketing. The other challenge for some of you is that it seems a little top heavy with all of these sort of management cards, but I'm not seeing a lot of pages or knights. So you might need to kind of take a look at your structure. Even if it is a very small business, we need more people helping with the day-to-day production so that you can focus on other things. And you don't want too many bosses with nobody doing production work. Maybe everybody has to roll up their sleeves a little bit if you can't afford to hire new people right now, but it seems a little top heavy. That's one thing that I see there. All right, moving on to job seekers. Can you find work? Yes, actually, this looks really good. The thing that I'm seeing with the Seven of Swords attached to this potential job is that they're not telling you everything. So come to the interview having done your research, and if something seems too good to be true or isn't being fully documented, ask. I think that there's like 2 or 3 options down the road that look better. So if one of the applications gets lost, I think it's for a reason. Like if you send something and never hear back, just let that go. Focus after you've started to listen to this message to reach out to some new places. And again, maybe some of you are going to lean more into entrepreneurial energy. This is very creative. This is very self-starter oriented. So at the very least, you need a job where you can kind of like not have a lot of bosses popping in and asking you questions all the time. The biggest challenge right now is being seen. If you have any networks that you can lean into, school, professional, former coworkers, this is the time to do it. Some of you might have to juggle a couple of jobs. I see that too. So just make sure that you're honest with how much you can work and that you're not kind of setting yourself up for frustration. Okay, moving on to students. Students. It looks like it's either an intensive semester or maybe you added one class too many. So just make sure that that's it. Like you don't add anything else. Self-care is really important here. When it comes to an assignment or maybe just like what's expected in a class, ask if there's a teacher that's not clear on their instructions, ask them questions before you do the paper, before you break out into the lab, before you spend a week doing something that you didn't have to do. Because it feels like there's something like that brewing here and you want to use your energy on what matters most. Okay? That's the only kind of pitfall there. If there's someone around you that's trying to do something deceptive or get away with something, disassociate with them. Like don't do it, first of all, and don't hang out with them. If you're trying to take a shortcut, don't. It's going to come to the light of day because we have a conspicuous card here and we have one in the shadows. This is going to win out. You want to be on the right side of things here. So just lead with integrity. Ask questions when you need to. You'll be fine. Don't add anything else to your schedule right now. Retirees. Some of you are a little frustrated because it feels like people that you've helped before, either as a mentor, teacher, parent, whatever, it's like, where are they now? So if you need or want to spend some time with people, pick up the phone, let them know. But also in this period of time, see if you can find some peers. These are people on the level with you. It's about making new friends, new connections right now. Okay? Let's move on to the next category, which is love and relationships. You received Sacred Journey, Transformation, and just this beautiful image of the 3 stages of a butterfly's life: caterpillar, chrysalis, and the butterfly itself. Relationships are either going to move upward and onward, or you might be seeing people in your life going in a different direction. So what's good about this is clarity. But sometimes it's difficult if people aren't in alignment with you. But at least you know where you stand, and I really do feel like this month you're going to be able to do that. There could also be some significant tests that come forth, and hopefully through that is growth and development. But if not, like I said, you'll know where you stand. We're going to break this down into 3 categories. If you're currently in a partnership, this is like one of the most important things. Because the longer you know someone, sometimes the easier it is to have little things upset you. Forgive them, forgive yourself, and give them room to grow. Assume that they can grow. And what do we have on that card? Butterflies. So now is a time to really lean into this. This message is especially for those that you already know and love. Allow the butterfly energy to come forth. Okay, other things that are showing up here. I mentioned that there's a divine partnership between King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. So some of you have really met someone that you care about, you love, but you're wondering, for those of you that maybe have been together for a while but haven't made it official or exclusive, like, are they on the same page? Ask. I see really good energy around this. It's better to just get it out there because it feels like both parties might just be waiting for the other person. All right, assuming that you're already in a long-term relationship, here are your challenges. Honesty. There's something that you might be afraid of telling them. Put it out there. Let them know because you love each other. The Eight of Swords. There's a feeling that one or both parties don't always see each other. And so just acknowledging what's going well, also bringing to light things that are frustrating. You need to be able to talk about hopes, fears, and dreams. The Empress energy showing that you can get a handle on that. So the one thing that's missing from this spread is air. We have a little bit here, but not the kind that I want. I want to see like a Page of Swords or the King or Queen of Swords, and we're not seeing that. So better and clearer communication will be your friend. And I mentioned that there could be a non-traditional or kind of unusual family situation. So when you have this many court cards, there could be a previous partner, maybe even a previous child in the mix, or like I said, you might be looking at expanding your family using a surrogate, or maybe you're adopting someone. So I see a blended family. Also, for some of you, maybe there's, because this can be elders as well, so there could be a mother-in-law or a grandparent that's moving in and you're helping them out, and that's going to add some additional wrinkles to what we see here. So communication is really important in that situation. Okay, single and looking, can you find anybody? Absolutely. There's almost too many options here. So it's not if you can find someone, it's really, are you ready? I would say there's a couple things that you can do to get more ready. One is to clear up your schedule because the King of Pentacles is taking on too much. So is the Seven of Wands. The energy that's presenting itself in the middle here is an Aquarius, which looks really good and feels really good. And it feels like it could be either from work, school, or your extracurricular activities, or just at an unexpected moment. You can't really control that too much. There are other options coming through. I quite like the Queen of Wands. So there could be a fire sign coming forth as well. And the only thing that I see with that is that this person is they know who they are. The word assertive comes through. They might have already had like a significant chapter in their life, a little bit older. And again, maybe they're a parent or they've created their business. There's something about this person that's really put together. So, if you're looking, you'll find someone, but you'll find someone strong this month. So get your schedule together, be honest with yourself and with others. And once you do that, you start to pull in some exciting options. But you have earth, you have fire, and you have this really engaging energy here with the Empress, someone who knows who they are, and potentially, like I said, an Aquarius. So no lack of options, maybe just a lack of focus on what it is that you want. So it's important to meditate with spirit and set out those attributes that you're looking for, okay? Finally, as we take a look at those that are single and happy, it's a great month for you. So much opportunity this month to launch something. So birthing energy, birthing energy, birthing energy. And then we have stepping into the spotlight. It's a great time to be sort of like just independently working or, again, just focusing on personal development. The other thing here is you might actually be doing some like if it's not building a project, you might actually literally be constructing something in your life, building and creating. So I really just see a lot of energy around that. Manage your time and energy so you don't get burned out this month. Finally, let's take a look at the Destiny card. Interesting. So we have something that's connected to the crowning card. Battle. The card is reversed. Choose your battles wisely. One thing that I will say, the Seven of Wands knows absolutely how to defend themselves. You can see it even greater here. There are things that are worth your time and energy. If, for instance, someone is trying to take away something that you've worked hard to create, intellectual property, actual property, love, whatever it is that you've done, and you're like, no, that's not what you're going to do. You put a line in the sand. This isn't acceptable. Human rights, your rights, whatever. You stand up for yourself. You stand up for others. If you see someone mistreated at school or at work, you say stop. So there are times and places where the activism and the boundaries and the communication matters. But also make sure that you don't get in the middle of someone else's fight. The octopus here at work could show a dicey situation where someone tries to pull you into their nonsense. Okay? And give people time to change. It takes time, and we can see that here. And that's one of the other messages with that is change takes time. Give someone a few days or few weeks, and try not to kind of like push something to the point of bringing up like a fight or an argument. Okay? Let's take a moment now and look at one final card. Think of a question that I haven't yet answered, and I'm going to give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. So we got one of the biggest cards in tarot, the Tower. The Tower comes through when a change is underway, and it's a necessary change. So much like you had a necessary pause in the deep past, now we see something here with this question where it's already kind of happening. Because I'm doing a general reading, I'm going to break it down into potential questions. If it's a yes or no, it's a no. There's a lot of moving pieces, and there's more than meets the eye. You just need to do more research. So I could maybe lean on the side of not yet until you've had a chance to really take a look at the landscape and understand just how impactful this might be. If you're looking at the intensity of something, this is showing me that it's big. Now, towers can be good. So for instance, the tower can come through when you give birth to a child, when you get married, when you get divorced, when someone that you love leaves you and transitions into spirit. These are big shifts in our life that change everything. So we see like a big change associated with the question that you asked. So what I would posit back to you is, are you ready for that kind of growth moment? Because if you are, perfect. This can be like expansion, right? And that can be good. If you're not completely sorted out on what you want, and if you're ready, then wait, because we got that you're exactly where you need to be, and you need to sort of like understand what the path is for you. So make sure that you know yourself, make sure that you've done the research on this, and know that there's some moving pieces. Now, in business and in life, this can show like almost like a revolving door. So if you're looking at a job opportunity, there might be a recent acquisition. This can also represent construction. This can also represent noise or a little bit of chaos. So my general advice on this one is learn more and proceed like you would in a construction zone cautiously so that you can get a lay of the land. I think that there is a better time and place and there's a better option in front of you because this landed in the final question and it's so big and there's so much dust and there's so much to look at. But the only time that this could be really great is if it's one of those big expansion moments where it's like, yep, this is big, but fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. But if you're not ready for all of that energy, then pace yourself, okay? I hope you found this helpful today. If you did, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Go ahead and like the video. And please, if you feel inclined, leave a comment. All three of these things help YouTube see this video as valuable, and then ultimately more people discover it. So thank you in advance. You can also give me a follow across other social media platforms. My name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, is my handle on all major platforms listed here. And if you want to find me across all of those and make sure that you have the right handle, you can go to my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. It's all listed there. If you'd like to show some love and support through PayPal, Again, we have a theme here. It's always my name. That link is also on my website. And if you just want to stay here on YouTube and show some support, you can leave a sticker with your comment. Or if you ever tune into my Sunday live streams, you can also do super chats and super stickers. That, my friends, is everything for today. So I just want to say thank you for being one of the best parts of what I do here on YouTube. I appreciate your love and support. I do daily, weekly, monthly videos plus special topics. Please sign up for my newsletter if you haven't already done that. That's on my website again. So you can go there and click on newsletter, and thank you in advance. So let's give Apollo a pat on the head and wrap up for today. Hello, buddy. Who's a good boy? Are you a good dog? Yes, you are. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic month ahead. I'll see you soon.